Hi everybody. Let's see, maybe I'm not live. I'm getting a spinning circle. I don't know anybody that likes the new Facebook Live. I'm not sure I like the new Facebook page either. Okay, I think we're live now. Hey, it's been a while since I've been in here, and I just wanted to touch base with everybody. A common theme in pretty much all of the peer consultation groups over the last few weeks has been just the wear and tear of this pandemic doing the work that we do. And one of our members shared a really interesting, helpful article, which I'm going to link in the comments to this video, that gave some information about that. And so some of the concepts we're talking about surge capacity. Surge capacity is what we do. It's when our minds and bodies are functioning optimally when we're enduring acute stressors. That's things like natural disasters, things that are a crisis, but they come to an end and you function really well to get through that. What we're seeing with COVID is we have an unknown future. We don't know when the end's going to be. So we've used our surge capacity, and now we're sort of like running on empty because we don't have a way to fill that up. So one of the things that I want to talk about is some tips for dealing with that. I'll let you read the article. It has some really good information in there. One of the people were saying it's like oddly reassuring to read this. And I guess that's really from the sense that that's what one of the members had shared. It's from the sense that we would rather have like concrete things to say, hey, this is going to get better, but they're more about tips about really stepping back, figuring out what you need, enduring, and knowing that we're not getting this new normal that everyone thinks we're going to get and that we're hoping for. There's too many unknowns at this point. So one of the things that we can do is we can accept that life is different, and it's going to be for a while. I would like to encourage everybody, if you haven't done this already, to take a really good look at your schedule right now. Figure out what is the minimum number of clients you can see to make the income that you need to pay your bills and do all the things that you need to do. If you are at a point where you are making that amount of money and you feel like you need to take a break from accepting new clients, that's okay. We have to balance our ongoing endurance with being able to provide quality of care with taking on new clients. And building up our referral network is going to be a really great way to do that. So if you are a clinician who's watching this video and you have like plenty of room in your schedule and you want to take some clients, then feel free to add to the comments what state you're in, if you take insurance or not. You can list the ones that you take and what your price is, so that we know that we have some options for spreading the load some. I know there are clinicians who are completely full and feeling overwhelmed, and there are people who are newer in their practice and they're building their business and their name is not out there yet. And so this is a great time that we can support each other. So feel free to share that. I'd also like for you to consider looking at this not as an all or nothing thing. So if you have a day where you're really exhausted and you feel like you hit that wall, look at your schedule for the next day or two. Don't look at it from the perspective of, can I afford to cancel all of my clients? But look at, okay, are there some clients that I can cancel? Some that maybe are more draining, but they're doing pretty well, and if I cancel that appointment, they're probably going to be okay. I'll see them next week. Making that decision based on each client and on your own schedule and what's going to work for you. I think all of us tend to have that thought process that if we're going to cancel, we need to cancel the whole day. And I've really been challenging myself during some things that have been going on in my life over the last year to reconsider that type of thinking. We also need to bump up new forms of self-care. For a lot of people, the self-care that we were doing is no longer working. A lot of it involved, for extroverts especially, getting out in public, engaging with friends, things that involved activities that we can't necessarily do right now. So look for new types of self-care that you can do. Look at things that were supportive in your past. Did you love sitting outside and listening to music on a beautiful day? Did you love cozying up with a blanket and a coffee or a hot chocolate and reading a good book? Some of those things that now that life is possibly slower for you, you might have some time to revisit some of those things. Also, we are at that point again where there's a lot of discussion about whether or not people should stay online or whether they should be going back to their offices. My experience is that the therapist Facebook groups are not the best place to ask that kind of information. The reason I say that is because there's so many different opinions about this, and there's not a lot of really good, solid information from experts that are giving us that information. And everyone's situation is different. Their clientele is different. Their own health and family members and the things that are impacting them are different. So I think it's really hard to have a group of strangers give you good advice about whether or not you should be going back to your office. So I would really encourage you to connect more with colleagues. Connect one-on-one. If there's a colleague in a Facebook group that you have gotten to know a little bit and you feel like you kind of trust them and respect them, then send them a DM and say, hey, would you mind chatting about this? Even if they're not in the same position, they might be somebody who would be willing to do that for you. The other thing is, let's try to work on not having that black and white thinking. We really need to work in the gray areas right now. We might not be able to do this our very best, but I'm at the point in my life right now where if I'm having an okay day, that's my new normal. Okay is a good day. Great doesn't happen that often. I've had great moments recently, but I'm not having a lot of really great days because there's so much change and there's so much pain going on in our world. And with all of the racial injustice that we're enduring, we are having even more pain going on in our world. So make sure that you are trying to look for those gray areas. I would also encourage you, if you have not been doing this, to look at ways you can become a better ally. A lot of us are worn down. Everyone is worn down from the pandemic, but there are still people who are being killed, mistreated, impacted hugely by the racial injustice that we experience in this country. I am working really hard on learning how to be a better ally. There's a Facebook group called Meaningful Allyship for, I think it's mental health clinicians. And Miera in there is doing some really great work with bringing attention to issues. Her perspective, which I really appreciate, is that to be an ally doesn't mean you have to do big things. You don't have to march at protests. You don't have to go and make big changes, but you can make small changes. You can figure out what are the things that you can do. Letter writing to politicians, becoming more informed about racial injustice and the systemic racism that is going on in this country, and learning how to be a better ally. So if there are ways that people would like some support around that, please let me know. I have created a post that's for resources for that. I have not updated it recently, but I would love for other people to put some things in there. And as I as my schedule settles down again, I was out last week, and so this week I'm slammed, as you probably appreciate when you're out. The next week is usually really crazy. So I'm going to get back to doing some more of that. But I do want this to be a loving, accepting, non-judgmental group where we accept all people and we love all people the same. And so let's make sure that we can encourage each other and build each other up. Okay, everyone, I'm going to post the link to that article in the comments. Feel free to post in the comments if you are someone who is, if you're online or if you're face-to-face, give us a little scenario that if you have room in your practice, hey, this is what I specialize in, this is the state that I'm in, these are the states that I can practice in, I take these insurances, if I'm private pay, this is my range, so that we can spread the load a little bit, because I hear all the time there are therapists out there who need to fill their practices, and there are therapists out there who are completely overwhelmed. So this is a really great time for us to be networking and working together so that we can spread that load. And please, please, please take care of you. We cannot help our clients if we don't take care of ourselves. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I also know this is a choir that tends to give that advice but not necessarily take it. And I include myself in that. All right, take care, everybody.